Hello and welcome. I'm Nick Butts, and this is the Nick Butts Chess channel. And this is a new series entitled Winning Chess. And before I begin, I would like to remind all viewers and subscribers to please leave comments with your vote for the best chess player of all time, who you think that is, and just leave comments, and whoever I receive the most votes for, I will do a video review of that chess player's games or a game for the 150th video that'll be coming up soon. And so let's get back to this Winning Chess series, episode 1, How to Win at Chess. And so while I am explaining how to win at chess, I've put up a tactics problem here with white to move, and white is winning in this position, so you can take a look at that. Feel free to pause the video if you need time to figure it out. And in the meantime, while you're trying to solve that, I will explain ways to win at chess, or how to win at chess. So the first thing to do to improve your chess and to help you win at chess, one shortcut, I guess, is to just study tactics problems. Try to do that every day, not only on the computer or your phone on a flat screen, but try to set up some problems on a physical board as well. I'd recommend doing both, as it is a little bit different when solving tactics on a screen compared to a physical board. So I'd recommend both, and trying to do that every day, at least for a few minutes, a half an hour or more, depending on how much time you have. So how to win at chess. There are many ways to improve. There are some shortcuts, like training with tactics problems, something you should do regularly, as much as you can, because many mistakes are made by beginners with tactics. Most of their games will be lost because they overlook a tactic. And hopefully this tactics problem here on the board will help you exercise your tactical muscles and see if you can solve this problem. So on to how to win at chess. So first, tactics problems. Do that. Second, I would recommend playing every day if you can. Even if it's a few blitz games, but preferably games that are a little bit longer, because blitz games, you will kind of rush through the game trying not to run out of time. So longer games are better, as you have a little extra time to think, and it will help you make less mistakes with that extra time. But something that's very important when it comes to playing every day, you should also try to analyze your games as much as possible. And I know if you lose a game, you may want to just forget about that game and move on, but that is especially important if you can analyze games that you lose, and at least try and figure out how you lost that game, what mistakes you made, and even if you learn just one thing that you can improve on, and try not to repeat that mistake. And when it comes to analyzing games, you should try to first go over the game on a board, or your computer or phone, but don't use the computer evaluation the first time you go through. Try and replay through the game, and try and figure out on your own what you did wrong. And the best thing to do would be write notes down if you have the time to do this, and just try and figure out what you did, all your thoughts, and compile some notes on it before you use the computer. And then once you've gone through the game, even more than once, go through the game a couple times maybe, depending on your time, if you have enough time to do this. And once you think you've figured out as much as you can about that game, about what you might have done wrong, then run it through the computer and see what the computer comes up with and check everything. The computer will find tactics that are hard for humans to find. And so that's what I would recommend. Try to play every day, at least one game, or more. But if you can, analyze as many of your games as you can. First, just look at the game yourself and try and figure it out, and then check with the computer to see what you missed. And also, I would recommend studying end games. Some people may not enjoy end games. They want to get down to capturing and attacking, but end games can be very important, especially basic end games. Many beginners, they may have a winning position and then they just haven't learned how to checkmate with a rook and king versus a king, or a queen or whatever. They just chase the king around and don't know how to finish the game off. So end games are definitely important. So study those. Also study strategy. Learn as much as you can as far as strategy when it comes to how the different pieces work, how they coordinate together, pawn structures, how to use outposts, and open games, closed games. There's just so much to strategy. So that's another thing that I would study. And then also, let's see, do light opening study. I know a lot of people get carried away and they want to learn openings and traps and everything. So that's good to do some light opening study, but I wouldn't spend all your time on opening study until you are an advanced player. Until you're, some chess masters recommend not even studying the opening until you're a 2000 player. But for average people that may have trouble trying to get to 2000 or higher, maybe hold off on opening study, do some study, but don't really go in depth in your opening study until maybe you're a intermediate or advanced player, until your rating's like 1600, 1800 or higher. But also, when you're trying to come up with what to study, remember to have fun as well. If you enjoy studying openings, okay, study them a little bit more. It's better to do some studying of something in chess than to get burnt out and, not do anything. But just remember, light opening study, maybe when you analyze your games, instead of trying to memorize variations, just find one move that you can improve on in your opening. So let's say you made it 4 or 5 moves into the opening and then you just made a bad move. Well, look up that opening and just try and find that one right move. So you slowly go one move deeper into your opening. So it's not trying to memorize a bunch of lines, but you just improve one move at a time. And that'll be a little bit easier when you're starting out. And also, let's see. One other important thing is to compile a little notebook or something in your computer. As you're learning, try to compile some notes, especially what you find to be important, things to help you remember. So as you study endgames, strategy, review your own games, perhaps you could take a little screenshot of an important position in your games or a tactic that you want to remember and save that, and then do some kind of regular review. At first, maybe you would have to review that piece of material the very next day, but then maybe you don't need to review it but once a week, and finally, maybe once a month or so, and then until you get that material down. So that's another way to help you win at chess, is just to slowly compile a little notebook or something you save on a computer or your phone with little screenshots or tactics, end games, openings, things you want to remember, because there's a lot in chess and it adds up quick when you're trying to remember all this. So if you just try and improve in little increments, that is a way to win at chess, is to just make small improvements, one thing at a time. If you make a mistake, learn from it, try not to do it again, and put that in your notebook so you can review it to help you remember not to repeat those mistakes, and to remember the important things that you would like to use in your games in the future. And so if we go to this position now, if you've been waiting to see the answer for this position, let's see here. We'll turn on the analysis and the evaluation and the lines. Okay, so it looks like there's a mate in 7, and there's 2 different ways to do it, and then it branches off into a lot of variations. But one way is to just capture here. Bishop captures on g7, and then the king is forced to capture, and then we have rook here checking the king on h7, and we see if the king tries to run to f6, the computer gives it a mate in 2, and so the best option is for the king to capture here, but it's already a mate in 5 from here. And after f6, a discovered attack, discovered check by this bishop, we have a block, and then a capture, checking again. The king runs, but now the queen comes up with check and a block by the knight, capture with check, and once the king moves, we have mate here. So that is one possible way to deliver the mate in 7. And if we go back to the beginning, instead of capturing with the bishop, another move is f6 here. And once again, there are different variations here. g6 and knight h6 can be played, but those mates will be quicker. The most resistance that black can put up is knight captures on f6, and then the bishop captures, and then if the bishop recaptures, we have rook capturing on h7, the king would move, rook to h8, and after the the king is forced to capture, then the queen jumps up with check, and after the king retreats, we have mate on h7 here. And so those are the 2 different ways that you could have solved this puzzle, a mate in 7. And so I'll review here how to win at chess. So definitely try to solve tactics, puzzles, and problems regularly. Just like this problem, start maybe with even simpler ones. This one was a little complicated, but especially when you're starting out, tactics are very important. Many games are won and lost by tactics. Until you reach a 2000 level or higher, and even chess masters lose to tactics. So study your tactics every day if you can, on the board, as well as on your phone or computer. Also, one thing I should have mentioned when it comes to tactics and chess in general, another way to win at chess is practice safety. So many players lose because they don't think about safety. Your king safety first. Check to see if there's any unexpected checks or checkmate surprises, something that you can catch before you make a move and run into trouble. So look for king safety first, then look for piece safety. Make sure you're not blundering a piece. And before you move, ask yourself, if I move here, is this piece going to be safe? Is my king going to be safe? And then pawn safety. Make sure you're not unnecessarily giving away pawns. And then once you check that your king, pieces, and pawns are safe, then you can look at your opponent. See if his king's safe. Maybe you have a mating opportunity that you would have overlooked if you just moved too quickly. And then check his pieces and pawns. Are they safe? Is he giving away a free piece or a pawn? And if it looks like he's giving something away for free, do a quick safety check to make sure it's not a trap also. And if it looks good, maybe you're just getting some free material. So, tactics every day, study them, check for safety when it comes to your tactics, your safety and your opponent's. Then play every day if you can. And very important, try to analyze your own games. That may be the single most important thing to do to help you win at chess, is to analyze your games, try and learn from your mistakes, try to figure out where you went wrong, and try to do it on your own first before you take the shortcut of using a computer to solve all the problems. Because you can learn a lot when you're thinking, and practice your calculation skills when you're trying to analyze in your own head before you start moving the pieces on a board, or especially before you start using the computer to get answers. And so also, especially losing games, it's important. I know sometimes you lose a game and you just want to forget it, but you'll probably learn more from the games that you lose than the ones you win. All right, and then study end games. Some people don't like end games and they find them boring, but if you make it all the way to the end of a long, grueling game, and then you just lose in the end game, that's pretty disappointing. So study your end games, and even if it's just one little end game position a day, study your strategy, as there are so many parts to strategy in chess. From the opening to the end game. There's strategy the whole way through, how to take control of outposts, how to use pawn structures to your advantage or take advantage of your opponent's weak pawn structures. Anyway, study strategy. And then if you're going to study openings, just do light opening study. I wouldn't devote too much time to your opening study. Maybe when you analyze your games, try and find that one move that you can improve on. So you improve one move at a time in that opening. That way you're not trying to memorize too much too fast. And then compile everything in a notebook or your phone or computer. Maybe take screenshots or something to use for review, just so you have a little compilation of tactics, openings, strategy, anything that you find important. Do a review every now and then. I'd recommend at least once a week, just review some things so they stick in your memory more. All right, well, before this video gets too long, I just want to say thank you all viewers and subscribers for supporting this channel. We haven't even hit 2 months yet, and the channel is growing slowly and steadily. Remember, the 150th video will be coming up, so vote for who you think is the greatest chess player of all time. Leave comments on that player, and whoever I get the most votes for for the 150th video, I'll do a game review of that greatest chess player. And so, also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave comments and suggestions. Thank you, and have an outstanding day.